It's not what happens that determines your future. It's what you do about what happens. That's one of the most important lessons I ever learned. Because sooner or later, life is going to test you. Not because it hates you, not because it wants to break you, but because it wants to grow you. You see, life is like the seasons. You can't rearrange the seasons to suit you. Winter comes when it comes. The storms show up uninvited. And sometimes, life throws you a curveball you never saw coming. A health challenge, a financial disaster, a betrayal from someone you trusted, an unexpected loss. And the question is not, will life get tough? No, that's guaranteed. The real question is, how will you respond when it does? The same wind blows on us all. The winds of disaster, the winds of opportunity, the winds of change, the winds of winter, the winds of spring. You can't control the wind, but you control the set of your sail. You can control your attitude. You can control your choices. You can control how you show up every single day, even when life gets heavy. Now, most people, they let the storms control them. They get bitter. They lose hope. They fold under pressure, but a few, a rare few, they set their sail differently. They decide to stay positive, even when there's no reason to. And that decision, it makes all the difference. Because your life doesn't change when life gets easier. Your life changes when you get stronger. You don't need smaller problems. You need a bigger mind. You don't need fewer obstacles. You need greater skill. You don't need someone to come rescue. You need to rise up and rescue yourself. And that's what I want to share with you today. Simple ideas, simple disciplines that, if practiced daily, can keep your heart light and your spirit strong, even when the days are dark. Because life's not just about the good times. It's about what you do during the hard times. That determines the kind of person you become. Let me say that again. It's not the easy moments that shape you. It's the tough ones. It's the tough seasons that reveal your character. It's the disappointments that carve out your resilience. It's the lonely nights that teach you to depend on yourself. And if you learn how to stand tall when everything around you is falling apart, you'll become unstoppable. You'll have a calm inside you that no storm can shake. A joy inside you that no circumstance can steal. A strength inside you that will last a lifetime. But it's a decision. It's a habit. It's a mindset you have to build. Because staying positive when life is easy, that's no achievement. The real achievement is staying positive when you have every reason not to. So today we're going to walk through it together. Step by step, idea by idea. I'm going to show you how to shift your thinking when challenges come. Build a strong inner world that storms can't destroy. Focus on what you can control. Feed your mind daily with positivity. And finally, how to turn your toughest seasons into your greatest comebacks. Because the greatest lesson I can leave you with is this: life is opportunity mixed with difficulty, and the secret is learning how to handle both. If you can master your mind during the difficulties, you'll harvest the opportunities. If you can keep your heart open in the middle of the storm, you'll find the rainbow on the other side. So, buckle up, my friend. The winds are blowing, and today we learn how to set our sail. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. When life gets tough, the first thing people often ask is, why me? But I learned a long time ago, that's the wrong question. The real question is, what is this trying to teach me? You see, the key to staying positive when life gets tough is to change the way you look at the tough times. Because if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at begin to change. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it's possible. The problem is, most people see challenges as punishment, as some kind of cosmic unfairness. But what if it's not punishment? What if it's preparation? What if life isn't testing you to break you, but to shape you? Because here's a truth you've got to come to grips with adversity introduces you to yourself. When things fall apart, that's when you discover what you're really made of. Let me tell you a little story from my own life. In my early 20s, I was broke. I was behind on my promises, behind on my bills, behind on my life. I kept waiting for life to get better. I kept hoping someone would come along and fix it. But one day I looked in the mirror and I realized this is not the government's fault. It's not the economy. It's not my neighbor or my boss. It's me. That moment changed my life. Because instead of complaining about the challenge, I started learning from it. I stopped asking, why is this happening to me? And started asking, what am I missing here? What can I do differently? What is this teaching me about responsibility, about money, about life? And the moment I changed my questions, I changed my life. If you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting what you've always gotten. So what did I do? I became a student of failure, a student of difficulty, a student of life. Because every challenge carries a lesson. Every problem has a message. But you've got to look for it. And here's another thing I learned. Sometimes the lesson isn't about how to fix the problem. Sometimes the lesson is about how to fix yourself. Let me say that again. The problem isn't always out there. Sometimes the problem is in here, your attitude, your habits, your thinking. You can't always control what happens, but you can control how you interpret what happens. And that interpretation, that's everything, because you can take a setback and turn it into a setup for a comeback. You can take a tragedy and let it grow your empathy, your compassion, your depth. You can take a season of struggling and use it to build your character like never before. But you must decide, am I going to resent this challenge? Or am I going to respect it? Am I going to be the victim of this situation or the student of it? See, you don't grow when life is easy. You grow when life is hard. You don't get stronger by lifting pillows. You get stronger by lifting heavy things. That's how it works. And maybe, just maybe, this challenge you're facing right now is the weight you need to lift to become the person you're meant to be. Now, does that mean you have to like it? Of course not. But you can respect it, and you can learn from it, and you can become better because of it. So next time the storm rolls in, next time the bank account gets low, the relationship falls apart, the plan doesn't work out, a pause, breathe, and ask, what is this trying to teach me? Because once you learn how to look at challenges with new eyes, once you train yourself to respect the process, you will never again be at the mercy of your circumstances. You'll have taken back your power. You'll have flipped the script. You'll have started the journey from fragile up to unshakable. Because in the end, it's not what happens that determines your future. It's what you do about what happens. And it all begins with how you choose to see it. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. That one sentence changed my life. Because the truth is, it's not what's happening around you that determines your strength. It's what's happening inside you. You can have chaos on the outside, but if you have peace on the inside, you'll make it through. You can have pressure all around you, but if you've built strength within, you'll stand tall. That's what I call your inner world. See, most people are so focused on fixing their outer world, the car, the house, the income, and that's fine. But if you neglect your inner world, your outer world will eventually crumble. So the real question is this: what's going on inside of you? Because life will test it. Life will press against it. And if you've built your life only on achievements, titles, or comfort, the first storm will shake you to your core. Let me give you an example. Imagine two trees in a storm. One has deep roots, the other doesn't. Same rain, but one stands and one falls. Why? Because of what's below the surface. The same is true for us. The strength of your life depends on the depth of your roots, and those roots, they grow in your inner world. Now let me ask you something personal. When was the last time you sat down with yourself and asked, how strong is my thinking? How calm is my spirit? What do I believe about myself, about life, about adversity? Most people don't ask those questions until it's too late. But you can start building from the inside today. Here's how. 1. Feed your mind daily. The mind is like a garden. You've got to pull the weeds and plant the seeds. If you don't intentionally feed it with something positive, something useful, something powerful, then the world will fill it with fear, doubt, and distraction. Stand guard at the door of your mind, I used to say, because whatever gets in eventually comes out in your attitude, your choices, and your results. Read good books. Listen to powerful ideas. Hang around strong minds. Do this every single day too. Protect your self-talk. If your inner dialogue is negative, you will always feel defeated, even when you're winning. You can't say, "I'm not good enough. I'm never get it right. Nothing ever works for me," and expect to feel strong. Your words shape your reality. So instead of tearing yourself down, build yourself up. Start saying, "I can handle this. I'm learning. I've overcome before. I'll overcome again. I may not control everything, but I control my attitude." That one shift can change your entire day. 3. Practice the quiet. In a world that never stops yelling, be the person who learns to be still. Find 5 minutes a day to disconnect. No phone, no noise. Just you and your thoughts. Because when you quiet the outside world, you begin to hear your inner world. That's where clarity lives. That's where confidence begins. That's where peace is found. And in a storm, peace is power. 4. Define your personal philosophy. Everyone lives by a philosophy. Most just haven't written it down. But let me ask you, what do you believe about adversity? What do you believe about effort? About people? About the future? Because when life gets messy, your philosophy becomes your compass. I wrote mine down. Simple statements like discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. For things to change, I must change. It's not the blowing of the wind. It's the set of the sail. Those ideas became anchors for my thinking. And when my emotions ran wild, I went back to them. That's how you build a strong inner world. Not overnight, but brick by brick, habit by habit idea. And before long, you become a different kind of person. A person who doesn't fall apart when life does. A person who has peace that the world didn't give, so the world can't take it away. A person who's strong on the inside, regardless of what's happening on the outside. So here's my challenge to you. Start today. Work harder on yourself than you do on anything else. Reflect, write, think, pray, feed the fire inside you. Because when the fire inside you burns brighter than the fire around you, nothing can stop you. Remember, the greatest value in life is not what you get. The greatest value in life is what you become. So become strong. Become steady. Become unshakable. Your inner world, that's your real home. Build it with care. It's not the blowing of the wind that determines your destination. It's the set of the sail. That one thought can change your life. Because here's the true thing, the wind will blow. It always does. Sometimes it's a soft breeze. Sometimes it's a storm. Sometimes it feels like a hurricane. But here's the good news, you don't control the wind. And that means you're not responsible for it. You are, however, responsible for the sail. That's your mindset. That's your attitude. That's your daily decisions. And when life gets tough, that's the only place your power lies. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. That's not just a nice quote. That's a life strategy. Because if you wait for things to get easier, you'll be waiting forever. But if you learn how to focus on what you can control, you win. Every time. Let's talk about that. 1. You can't control the economy, but you can control your effort. Some people blame the economy, the market, the weather, the timing. But I say, blaming the economy is like blaming the wind. You can't stop it, you can't change it, but you can adjust. You can work harder. You can learn new skills. You can find creative ways to add value. You can be indispensable. That's effort's energy. That's you, taking charge of the sail. 2. You can't control other people, but you can control your response. People are people. Sometimes they lift you up. Sometimes they let you down. But hear me now, You don't get to control their behavior, but you do get to control yours. If they're negative, stay positive. If they lie, stay honest. If they complain, stay focused. Respond with strength, not emotion. Respond with values, not impulses. Why? Because when you control your response, you stay in power. Otherwise, you're just a puppet, controlled by someone else's mood. No, not you. You rise higher. 3. You can't control the past, but you control the story you tell about it. We all have scars. We all have chapters we wish we could rewrite. But here's something to think about. The past is a place of reference, not residence. You don't have to live there. You don't have to relive it every day. You can learn from it. You can grow from it. You can use it to build a better future. But don't keep dragging it into today. You're not that same person anymore. So forgive what needs to be forgiven, release what needs to be released, and move forward with what matters. That's in your control. 4. You can't control the outcome, but you control the process. Everyone wants the result, the win, the breakthrough reward. But the truth is, results are outside your hands. Effort is not. You can show up early. You can stay late. You can practice. You can improve. You can work on your craft, sharpen your skills, and give your best, even when no one's watching. That's the process. And the process is always yours. Success, that comes and goes. Recognition, that's up to others. But your commitment to the process, that's all you. And that's where real confidence is built. 5. You can't control what happens, but you can control what it means. This one's important because life will bring disappointment, failure, delay, heartbreak. But those things don't define you. The meaning you assign to them does. You can say, this setback proves I'm not good enough. Or, this setback is a setup for a comeback. Same situation. Different meaning. You get to choose, because the story you tell yourself becomes the life you live. So tell a strong story, a story of endurance, a story of growth, a story of rising again. That's how you stay positive. Not by pretending everything is perfect, but by controlling what you focus on, by staying anchored in what you can do, what you can choose, what you can become. When the winds of life blow, and they will, don't waste time yelling at the wind. Set the sail. That's your job. That's your power. That's your peace. Because when you take control of your thinking, your effort, your response, and your meaning, you become unstoppable. And remember, it's not what happens that determines your life. It's what you do about it. So go do something powerful. Focus on what you can control and watch your life change. You must stand guard at the door of your mind. Now, why would I say that? Because what gets in will eventually come out. And if you're not careful, if you're not intentional, the weeds will take over the garden. Negative thoughts, self-doubt, fear, worry. If you don't plant flowers, the weeds grow by default. That's how the mind works. And that's why positive thinking is not a luxury. It's a necessity. Let's get this straight. I'm not talking about wishful thinking. I'm not talking about ignoring reality. No. I'm talking about the discipline of thinking positively. Discipline is the bridge between thought and accomplishment. And one of the greatest disciplines you can ever master is to develop a strong, positive mind, even when life gets messy. Let me walk you through this. A lot of people say, well, I just don't feel positive today. And I say, that's not the point. Positivity is not about how you feel. It's about what you choose. You can feel tired and still choose gratitude. You can feel afraid and still courage. You can feel defeated and still say, I'll try again tomorrow. That's the kind of positivity I'm talking about. It's not a smile painted over problems. It's a deep internal decision to focus on what's possible, to believe that something good is still ahead. That choice, it's always available. Life doesn't get easier just because you start thinking positively, but you get stronger. Your thinking determines your energy. Your energy determines your actions, and your actions create your results. So yes, your thinking matters. Think small, stay small. Think problems. Find problems. Think solutions. Create momentum. Whatever you think about expands. You can think about your obstacles, or you can think about your options. One drains you. The other fuels you. That's the difference. Just like your body needs good nutrition, your mind needs it too. So let me ask you, what are you feeding your mind every day? The news, complaints, drama, negativity, or books that stretch you, voices that uplift you, ideas that challenge you, stories of courage and hope. If you want to think better, you have to input better. Remember, your mind becomes what you give it. That's why I always say, stand guard, be intentional to the garden. You can't grow roses in a garbage pile. Words matter, what you say to others. Yes, but especially what you say to yourself. You might think, oh, it's just words. No, friend, it's programming. When you say, I can't do it, you're programming defeat. When you say, I'm not lucky, you're programming limitation. But when you say, I'll find a way, you activate creativity. When you say, this is hard, but I can handle it, you activate resilience. Use powerful language. Even when you feel weak, speak not just where you are, but where you want to go. Here's where most people go wrong. They treat positive thinking like a one-time event. I read a quote, I feel better. That's good, but it's not enough. This is a daily game. Every single day, you practice it. You build it. You strengthen it like a muscle. You wake up and give thanks. You reflect on your goals. You watch what you consume. You talk to yourself with kindness. Do it over and over until it becomes your nature. It's not about never having a negative thought. It's about not letting it settle in. Don't water it. Don't feed it. Don't nurture it. Let it pass and replace it with truth. You can't control the outside world, but you can control your inner world. And when you dog, everything changes. You'll walk through storms with confidence. You'll face challenges with calm. You'll carry hope into the darkest places. That's not weakness. That's power. Because when life gets tough, and it will, positive thinking becomes your secret weapon. So start today. Train your mind, strengthen your thoughts. And remember, things will change for you when you change. Don't just go through it. Grow through it. When life gets tough, most people look at what they've lost. They say, I lost time, I lost money, I lost faith, I lost myself. And yes, losses hurt. It's okay to feel them, to mourn, to sit quietly with your pain. But don't stay there. Because if you only see the loss, you miss the lesson. And if you miss the lesson, you're likely to repeat the experience. So here's the big idea when life gets hard. Don't ask, why me? Ask, what can I learn from this? Every difficulty, every failure, every closed door is a teacher. The question is, are you listening? Life whispers before it shouts. First, it sends a signal, then a nudge, then a lesson wrapped in pain. Don't ignore it. You lost that job. Maybe it's time to grow new skills. That relationship ended. Maybe it revealed what you truly value. That business failed. Maybe it taught you how not to do it next time. Every adversity has value. If you're humble enough to search for it, let me tell you something I've learned in the tough times. They are fertile ground. Don't waste your suffering. Turn it into wisdom. Most people run from pain, but pain is often the doorway to clarity. In fact, the worst things in life can often lead to the best things in life if you let them. It's in the breakdown that people break through, but only when they stop asking, how do I get out of this? And start asking, what am I supposed to get out of this? That's the turning point. Pressure does something remarkable. It removes the surface. It strips away the mask. It shows you who you are. Hard times reveal your character. They expose your priorities. They test your faith. And here's the thing. That's not a bad thing. That's a necessary thing. Because until you face the truth about yourself, you'll keep chasing the wrong goals, fighting the wrong battles, living by someone else's rules. Loss can be a teacher, but truth is the lesson. And the truth sets you free. I've had regrets. You probably have too. We've all made mistakes. wasted time, ignored opportunities. But the question isn't, did I fail? The question is, what did I learn? Don't drown in your regrets. Stand on them, use them as stepping stones. Turn regret into resolve. Say to yourself, I've learned my lesson, now I will do better. Because that's how progress happens, not by perfection, but by persistence. Not by avoiding failure, but by refusing to repeat it. Here's one of the best habits I ever developed, and I keep a journal of my failures. Yes, failures, but not to dwell, not to relive the pain, to extract the lesson. When something goes wrong, I write down what happened, what I did, and what I'll do differently next time. And then I move on. No shame, no guilt, just growth. Because here's the truth, the past is a school, not a prison. Don't stay locked inside your old mistakes. Learn from graduate. And move forward with wisdom. It's not what happens that determines your future. It's what you do about it. Tough times will come. Loss will happen. But don't just count the damage. Count the lessons. Every setback contains a seed of insight. Your job is to find it, look deeper, listen closer, ask better questions. Life is speaking. And if you're paying attention, you'll hear something powerful. Not just what you lost, but what you gained. Wisdom, clarity, maturity. That's the real victory. And that, my friend, is how you stay positive even when life gets tough. Remember, life is not about what happens to you, but what you do with what happens to you. So, as you face your challenges, look for the lessons, not just the losses. Keep your mind strong, stay positive, and above all, keep moving forward. Your journey isn't over yet. In fact, it's just beginning. Thank you for listening. Now go and make today count.